This meeting is being recorded.
So hey guys, back again with another video, and today we want to talk about why Kenya is losing its number one spot in the East African community, and we are going to we're going to touch on a few things. So if you please leave a like, please subscribe to our channel, and also leave a comment. We'll continue producing videos every day.
So I think we should start. The question says, why is Kenya losing its number one spot? It hasn't lost,
Yeah.
but
It's losing. The things that Kenya used to do, like producing things like tea, and I think the thing that's really killing Kenya, we heard from someone saying it's incompetent corruption. People are not
corruption is everywhere in the world,
utilizing
but the issues with Kenya is
Yeah.
incompetent corruption. You steal money and you don't do anything.
and don't do anything. You spend it on useless things.
Yeah,
and you spend it on very expensive useless things.
because incompetent corruption means, like, if you are supposed to put water in a village, you steal all the money. That's incompetent corruption, because you're imagining it could have helped people. And going back, why Kenya is losing the number one spot, Kenya used to be, the admired country in East Africa. Everyone wanted to come to Kenya. You remember when you're growing up, there were so many, refugees, immigrants from East African community coming to Kenya. Kenya was like, was like one of the best.
Kenya was a conducive environment.
Yeah, especially during the 10 years of Kibaki, he really put us somewhere.
Yeah, he put us somewhere, and I think it's neglect of mismanagement of resources and positions of responsibility. There's neglect. People are not really following up on what's happening, and if you look at countries like Ethiopia right now, has had Safaricom to be, I was looking at their Twitter. Was it Twitter or LinkedIn? Ethiopia is now going hard on making now the leap into technology. Things like M-Pesa will be used in Ethiopia. And if you look at Kenya, we had that. We started in the Safaricom came maybe 1999 or something. And I think we were the first East African country, probably, I'm not sure, but at that time we started using cell phones, because I remember like my parent, the cell phone he had was a Nokia. That was when credit was 20 shillings per minute. And that was a leap into now technology. And now, even if we are doing that, we are still there. We haven't moved on to the next level. If you look at Safaricom, it's still on M-Pesa, even if it does a lot of other things. The thing that we know from Safaricom is
Safaricom
M-Pesa.
is not a tech company. It's it can't be seen as a.
It's a
monopoly.
It's like a buy and resell.
It's
a buy and resell, because it doesn't really produce anything, but it controls a certain market
because it has support of the government. So it's more of its dominance is not based on innovation, and it's more based on
it's more based on like holding that market down. You see something like M-Pesa, even Airtel and Telcom cannot compete with M-Pesa, in the sense that even to buy Airtel money and Airtel credit or Telcom credit, you still use PayBill. That shows how much deep rooted that these guys have. It's no competition for them. And if you want to start your own, because I was telling you, if you want to start your own telecommunications company in Kenya, you can't, because you will not be allowed to buy those frequencies. You need to be allowed to have your own SIM card. And those are the steps that these people took in the past to control the market. And that's, if you're controlling the market like that, it will be very hard for us to innovate anything. Because if you want to innovate and come up with something new, you'll always be told, hey, no, that license is 2 billion shillings. That license is 500
and the only one who can afford that kind of money is a foreign investor or a politician.
A foreign investor or a politician, yeah. And if you look at something like betting now, it's 40 million shillings just to get, not even the online betting, it's called what?
This the online betting.
The normal license.
Oh yeah, betting. The 40 million is like the Kenya's charity sweepstake. The one you go scratch.
Yeah.
It's 40 million to start. The online, I think, it's half a billion.
There's something called, so there's something called Betting Control and Licensing Board. I think this thing was created very recently. So here it's let's go to licensing. Let's just read. Revised, updated. So I don't know which betting. This is a very, very even the links are not even working to this website.
And that's a board that approves billions of shillings.
Yeah, but the website, but these things are done intentionally.
So I was looking at the way you were saying, like, you're losing the #1 spot. And you remember on the other video, we had talked about how Kenyan tea is now having to compete with Rwandese tea now, because we've been there, like the tea market, for almost, I think, since independence. You can put it for 450 years. So our tea producing mechanism has not advanced. We are still in the same system of
it has not moved.
And so that's why it's so that's why Rwanda can start like 5 years ago, and it
will catch up.
Yeah, it has catch up. But as you see, like when you look at, like, for example, a company like iPhone, even if today we are given the same money that Apple has, you cannot produce an iPhone. Why? Because those guys have done it over and over. They've refined their technology to the point where they reach, they know the chain, the supply from the manufacturing supply chain from A to Z, but if they kept on doing the same thing, somebody could have catch up. And you can come to see the only people who have catched up with iPhone are Chinese, because, like we said, the Chinese civilization is so very advanced. It's not that it's not like they didn't know how to make phones. They just needed money and also kind of exposure.
And if you look at those civilizations, if you look at the American and Chinese civilization, they always tackle the hard thing. The reason why.
And people should know America is not a 400 years old civilization. America is Europe.
America is Europe,
European civilization was there thousands of years, and then they decided to move and go and settle somewhere. So there's no difference between Americans and Europeans. So when people say America is 400 years, people need to understand America is older than 400. The citizens there, their generation is older than
the ancestors, the people who brought them there, the people who discovered America. And if you look at us as Kenya, we are so stagnant to the point that now we don't even care about the things that made us who we are. Like right now, everyone is just focused on, like, we're now losing the skill-based economy that probably used to have, that created the tea factories, that created the sugar factory. Because even sugar, it's
we had industry, bro. Because I was even hearing this.
We had industry. We are very industrialized.
I was reading an article that in the 1970s, Kenya had 10,000 ship captains, the guys who drive the ships. And we had 10,000 of them. In fact, we are even, our captains used to sail, like, in Europe. The ships in Europe used to be driven by Kenya. But now that industry died. Now it's when the outgoing president Uhuru, he's trying to revive it. Because also he was born in that era where I think even him had some kind of nostalgia, because he remembers the era of when I was growing up. I used to go to Mombasa and I would see, So it means there's somewhere which we slack. Because even as we speak now, Kenya imports a lot of food from Tanzania. And just the other day I was seeing, since now this Ukraine war has brought a lot of issues with sunflower oil. Tanzania has decided to put, I think, almost 500,000 acres into now planting of sunflower oil. Now they'll be exporting sunflower. No, we won't be buying from Ukraine. We'll be buying from Tanzania. And you see how these countries
I think,
are positioning themselves. I don't know if you can see the politics.
I can see the politics, and you find that us as Kenyans are becoming arrogant. That we just think we're in the lead because of, it's just been there, but it takes a lot of work to maintain a whole industry.
Number one.
And being number one, it takes a lot of work, and people are realizing, especially in this information age, all you need is just to buy the machines. Something like producing sunflower oil. You don't need someone who's very, very, like a PhD doctor. Yes, you can need a PhD doctor who studied sunflower oil, but you as an individual, you can just buy the machine and produce something like sunflower oil. And that's something that Kenyans think other people don't have, which is information. And if you look at it, even us, I don't know what's going to happen in this new government, but we need to be careful because people are going to outdo us. There are people out there studying us, our moves.
And
the same
people are
way
jealous,
people
study power politics of
and people want to be number one.
Also, because you see, we add a port, Tanzania adds a port. We build a railway, Tanzania builds a railway. So, when it comes to politics, you can't hate on Tanzania for doing, they've seen we are slacking, so they've taken an advantage, and you can't blame them, because they have to do what's best for their people.
For their people,
That's why you see the president of Tanzania, she was elected there to do what's best for her people, not what's best for Kenya. We need Kenya, also to get that point. We are not trying to promote here that Kenyans should be against us. No. We are just trying to look at what are we doing that's making us not be competitive as in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 60s.
And I think
Kenya was the powerhouse.
The slacking started, I think, when there's been this thing of, drinking, and we need to start looking at those things. We can't ignore that people are drinking more and taking more drugs, and it's the youth, because the people who started those industries in the past, they haven't been replaced by their descendants. If you look at a country like America and China, you find that a business has been running within the family for like 200, 300 years because of that descendant passing down knowledge, passing down knowledge. And if you look at Kenya, yes, there's that descendant whereby if my father was an engineer, he'll also be an engineer. But their time in this time is different, because there's a time we spoke to an engineer, he told us, you can't be licensed right now as an engineer in Kenya.
And even said, the guy is a civil engineer, he said it's a joke. He said
it's a joke, He said even they don't really do
much. He's a graduate civil engineer, but he said it was given to paint the road. You remember how they paint
that's the joke,
to
painting the road. And if you look at that, that means we don't, the passing down of knowledge has been cut off at some point. We're not passing down information to our descendants, whereby the third generation engineer, fourth generation engineer, we don't have that. You don't hear someone saying, my great grandfather's an engineer, my grandfather's an engineer. Okay, there's some, very few, but not all, because you find that most people, especially now, people are getting a lot of kids, and they don't have, stuff they can pass down from generation to generation. And that in future, I believe it will create a whole vacuum of people who are not trained to do STEM. And STEM is the basis of I believe STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, it's the basis of the survival of the economy. Because if you can't use science to figure out how you're going to eat, how you're going to survive, then we'll be at a deficit.
And even the statistics shows people. And even the statistics shows future countries, rich countries, won't be rich on minerals; they'll be rich on technology. So the more, because we pass
things
that
like
age
patents, discoveries.
It's good Africa is finding minerals, but we are now passing that age of finding minerals worth 12 trillion. So you see, even Uganda, because they don't have STEM, they don't have technology, they have to hire a Chinese company to come and mine for them. So
imagine.
So it means even that gold, they won't enjoy the full benefit of that gold.
And you find that people are saying, even if gold has been discovered and it's worth 12 trillion in Uganda, cryptocurrency will be more valuable than gold.
And crypto is, it's now a technology that has been,
So the concept with cryptocurrency, it will be more valuable. It's because there are 21 million Bitcoins, and they'll never be more than 21. But gold can be discovered with more quantity than can supply them. There'll be always more gold all the time. So you find that even these people, they don't even need minerals, like you're saying. They can just invent a technology that will be so that can compete with a mineral, And now minerals will just be used to produce phones, and something like gold will be used to produce phones, computers, chips, and stuff. But
and also they will be replaced because they create some kind of material that can replace gold. That's why we are saying technology is the ultimate way of in the world that we are going, because even if there's shortage of gold, I'm sure they can come up with something.
They can come up with something.
That can now replace the gold material.
because, you know, let's say there's a shortage of gold in the world. You know, these big countries can decide, let's start mining asteroids. Let's start mining this, because asteroids have trillions and trillions worth of minerals on them. So I don't think us will always be lagging behind. Like goes to the saying, we'll always be number last because we are not staying up at night studying and learning the competition. We are just always sleeping and waiting for number one to come and tell us, oh, I've discovered Bitcoin. Now you can, now after 10 years of using Bitcoin, now I can give you Bitcoin for you guys to use, you know. And that's the thing with Kenya. Look at Kenya. We've been probably 20 years in the lead, but we've never evolved in any way. We've always waited, like right now we're playing the waiting game of waiting for something to happen. But you don't understand the fact we've been in Kenya for so long. We're not looking at other countries, what they're doing. Like Rwanda is moving at probably a very fast pace to be one of the most dominant economies in East
I
Africa.
even just saw there, like 2 days ago, they opened, Kagame was sending off a Volkswagen. You know the Volkswagen Touareg?
Yeah.
The 4x4.
Yeah,
it looks
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. It's a big Volkswagen. It was they have a factory, I think a VW factory in Rwanda. I don't know if it's for assembling but manufacturing, but you can see, I don't know what happened to the Kenyan one, because also as we had started producing some,
but maybe it's still operational, but
yeah, but I
don't see many people.
But my point is, even though it's operational, Rwanda has done it. So yeah, you know, now no, it's not an issue of Kenya has been producing Volkswagen, now Rwanda has entered the race. It's more of we are now doing it at the same time. So it means like a country like Rwanda has already catched up with us.
Yeah, and now you can see that
and
anything
as
that
we
we
started
can do
with
in
Neo
country
era, remember the other podcast? Sorry, but we started with, so you could have had almost 30 years of experience in manufacturing.
Yeah. And now you're starting to see anything that us Kenyans can do. You know, the fact that we do not so the fact that we do here they're saying in 2016 VW opens Kenya assembly plant, launches ride sharing service in Rwanda. So ride sharing is like Uber. So the fact that we are not you know, we started production earlier than other countries. The fact that we have never sat down and said, okay, there are these industries in Kenya, let's make these jobs continuous, you know. Like you do a degree in mathematics, like you were saying, and then you don't get a job. You know, it's like we're killing these industries. In turn, we're killing any future perspectives of growing that industry, because we will be stagnant. We'll just be stagnant because you're not using.
I also feel like
we'll be stagnant for a long time.
The fact China entered into the game, I'm not blaming the Chinese. You know, they're smart also.
Yeah.
I'm blaming how we saw it. Also, the fact China showed us that, you know, you don't need to manufacture. Us, you can do it for you, and then you will just buy it.
Yeah,
you don't need
exactly.
Also,
that's
that made
another
us
thing.
slack even worse.
Yeah.
It made
Very
us
lazy.
even
lazier than we
chill.
are.
Because now, you know, the only thing I have to do is just get money, and you just make the product for me. So, you know, it removes the hard work. Now Chinese have to study.
Okay, I can say.
Now Chinese are the ones who have to study STEM, because you don't have to study STEM. You know.
Yeah. I can say if you were like, if you had oil, like you know, Arab countries also did that thing where they had oil and they invested. They told countries, you know, you can come and build for us, and we'll just be paying taxes and everything. We cannot duplicate that. How do you say? You can't duplicate that plan, because the Arab countries, they got oil. They hired American companies to build for them with their money, not with outside money. You know, the money that came from oil. Yeah, and then they used that money which they got from oil to build their country and improve the economy. But us, it's the opposite. Us, we're expecting outside money to come and make money for us.
You give us the money. You know, it's more of a kind of a slacky mentality. You, China, give us money, build us road. You know, it's not that you give us money, we build it ourselves. Give us money, build for us road, build for us everything.
And then we use our land as
collateral. I do for you everything.
I do for you. I eat for you. I swallow for you. I digest for you. I even go to the toilet for you after I'm done. And then you just sit there.
And then we are shocked why China has such a big holdover of Africa and most countries. And you know, speaking of Arab countries, you know, they just didn't bring people, investors. If you look at now a country like Dubai, Saudi Arabia, they really made sure that their people went to those countries, even though money came from outside China, America. They made sure that technology transfer happened. Their people were taught how to do those things. Because if you go, you see like a country like Saudi Arabia, the guys who mine the oil are the Arabs now. You know, they've studied oil engineering. It didn't like now. You know, they made sure you transfer this skill to us, and then we'll take the
and then us will continue from there. And us we are constantly just looking. Us, you're just constantly inviting foreign investment. We are not bringing that back to our people. You know, we are still, you know, like if you look at some of the people who are getting money in Kenya from abroad, those companies are registered in those other abroad. You know, the companies that operate in Kenya but are registered in China, companies registered in Europe, but they operate in Kenya. So it means even operating in Kenya
trust
is
the
being made more
systems
and more
than they
difficult.
trust the systems here.
Yeah, they trust the systems of other countries. Here they don't trust the system, because even if you look at getting foreign investment, you have to register your company in that country that you're getting foreign investment from. And that's what is the norm now. You know, you have to do that because Kenya, you can just come and you can be shut down at any moment. When the KRA feels like they want more money from you, they come and shut you down, like Keroche. You know, Keroche, I felt bad because that's actually a pride of Kenya, you know, even if it's alcohol, yes, but that lady was, you know,
and, you know, it was competing with EABL. EABL is not a small company. So if you're able to take a market share from EABL and you know you're a homegrown company, you know, that's a big statement and a lot of respect for Tabitha and
even being a woman, even also being a woman, because, you know, the space of manufacturing is probably dominated mostly by men. But you know, her being a woman, she took control and produced a lot. And now we're not going to have that because of, you know, politics. And that's why that's why Kenya was voted. That's one of the reasons probably why Kenya was voted the worst country to invest in, because any progress you're going to have when you hit billions of shillings of revenue, people are going to start coming after you to demand that you pay more tax. Because Kenya, apparently, it just when something makes money, they regulate the tax differently. They make it more difficult, because even now, probably like something like producing milk, you know, for you to produce milk, it's going to be very difficult. But I'm really eager to see if there's going to be any change in Kenya, or it's just going to be the same old. Because when Ruto was elected on 15th, right? Was declared
but me, I expect nothing to change much, because at the end of the day, you know, the system is the same. Nothing changes.
Yeah, the system is the same. Yeah,
because for you to really like change the system, you need like to be very aggressive and you know, aggressive is not strategies that's gonna work right now. And then I don't expect
there's a lot of moving parts.
There will be change for sure, but not as how people will be expecting it at
because people are expecting that
miracle. It will be a miraculous change.
People are expecting a miraculous change, but the change will be very gradual, slow. You'll still be things will still, you know, like this
people have to put in mind that Kenya is also struggling with the debt. You know, we just came out of COVID and election, so you know. So
it's probably
and we are not exporting. You know, that's another thing. We are not. You know, we are not.
And even if you look at the reason why we don't have industries anymore, it's because even like just paying for electricity to manufacture even dried fruit. You know, if I was looking at dried fruit, it uses some kind of electronic technology to produce the fruits. Just paying for that bill for electricity, you'll have to sell those fruits at a very high price.
And you know, speaking of
the supermarket,
okay.
If you go to the supermarket and you want to buy dried apples or dried pineapples, it's very expensive. 100 grams is like 100 shillings. Because it's so expensive to produce dried fruit, and dried fruit should be like the cheapest thing you can buy for 10 shillings 100 grams, but now it's 200 300 shillings 100 grams.
I don't know if you've heard about the Ethiopian I'm sure you've heard the dam, the electricity dam.
I've heard about the dam.
It's gonna be like if I'm not wrong, the largest provider of electricity. You know, they're gonna be even exported to Kenya.
They're going to be exporting,
so
and I heard that Ethiopia even are planning to do data centers and you know, build like Amazon Web Services. They're planning to have
and the aim is for cheap electricity, it creates room for manufacturing. So
manufacturing.
Yeah. So
and that's why it's expensive.
Yeah. Because now
but I think
power is cheap. Okay, Ethiopia also has its own bureaucracy and stuff, but what made me interesting is how they built the dam. I don't know if you've ever heard how they came up with the money. Like they were denied loans from United Nations, World Bank,
Okay.
So they had like everyone in the country had like to changa, like to remove money from their pocket. Like a salary, if you're making 20K, you say every month 1,000 is gone. Even that level of trust is very important. If you because I don't think anyone in Kenya can like trust at the government to be taking 1,000 every month to fill a project.
Because you have a history of money is raised, like COVID money just came in. And now people don't trust one another because of that. And that's something that is going to affect us. Now Ethiopia is going to come in.
But also Ethiopia has corruption, but remember they didn't accept the fact they have corruption to limit them. Even if in Kenya already you have corruption, but if we always use corruption as an excuse of not doing things, we will never do things. Because even Ethiopia, they just had to sit down and decide, there's corruption everywhere, like. But they had, but here it's more of, I don't know, but I feel the plan that the Ethiopians had was,
because even if they borrowed money, they still finished the project.
And now they have trust in the government. If the government comes and wants another two project, it's easy for them to trust the government and
to maneuver.
And see like you guys have really helped us out.
But the 40 minutes goes very fast.
But I'm just looking at the power play, how countries are playing, and I'm worried about Kenya because when it comes, Kenya is being churned out. Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda have a deal for the railway, the gas. Now they finish most of the oil will be passing through Tanzania to Uganda. We've had that position of passing oil from Kenya, Mombasa, all the way to now. We are losing it. We can see that like you're saying, Ethiopia is trying to become a powerhouse of energy.
And now we are going to be beat. We are going to be left behind because Kenya, we are still joking around with these policies and this industries.
Politics are everywhere. The issue is politics
everywhere. Even just right now we are reduced to just doing tech companies, because if you look at tech companies, you mostly need software that runs on an external computer. We are now moving away from producing tea, producing sugar, and because energy is becoming too expensive, because you need energy to produce and manufacture products. So as long as we keep on going that path of every time bills are going high, every time unga is becoming 250 and things like that. As long as you keep playing that game of we are neglecting industries, we're neglecting people who have the skill to put us forward. These countries are going to come up, put skilled people, like you're telling me Rwanda is putting skilled people in the positions. Tanzania is going to follow, Ethiopia is going to follow, Uganda is going to follow, and then Kenya is going to be now number last. Now Kenya is going to be now the joke of a country that was once on top and then now it's below. Because we are still not valuing skilled labor, and we're not valuing our skilled people who graduate. Because even if people are graduating, even that small number of graduates, they still can't get skilled jobs. They're still going to become makangas, and they're going for jobs which are unskilled as compared to what they studied. Because even if you look right now, not many people are willing to hire people who are skilled, and because skilled labor, there's not, even those industries are too expensive to manage.
And you remember even Professor Ndi was saying, starting a company that employs 4 people in Kenya constantly, you need $1 million. But but if you go to China and India, you need 200,000. Some countries even you need like 100K.
100K,
So it shows you like it's hard for the manufacturing sector to grow here, because how many people can come up with $1 million to start a company? And you're not also guaranteed the success of the company.
And if you look at our system, even of borrowing loans, you can't be given a loan to open up a business. You have to have land, or you have to have a very high value asset for you to be given a loan. So even the guys who borrow loans from, most guys borrow loans to buy cars to run in taxi service or delivery service. And you find that, like, that's the most you can be given to do, but you can't be given money to go and open up a factory and produce, because even a factory just buying the machines, it's probably over 10, 15 million. And then you still need to
the
lease land,
licenses, you get the
licenses,
yeah.
You need to be given, you need to distribute, so you need to buy vehicles to distribute. And the people who could do that were people of 1990s and that time. Now to do the same thing that they did in the 1990s is difficult for this newer generation. So this new generation is mostly going for YouTube, content creation,
Also in content creation.
Yeah, independently. I'm talking about being independent. But most guys, you find that even working for a factory, it's not feasible for X as Z generation, because working for a factory, you'll earn 10, 15,000 a month. That's a long hours. You'll have to live in a 1,000 shilling home, for you to be able to survive. You'll have to, really struggle. But I'm hoping that people will start realizing that it's them who are the change. It's not the government. Because if enough people come and say, hey, we need to be given these licenses to open this factory.
Because
we need to reduce electricity.
Because there's even a quote that says, the work of the government is not to make wealth, it's to enjoy wealth.
It's to reduce.
Yeah.
It's to enjoy,
yeah. So the government, the aim of the government is not to make wealth. It's not to give you, it's for, you make money, you give the government. So the government always enjoys wealth, taxes, but the government cannot.
Because in America, they even tax up to 50% of companies like Amazon and Tesla, but they never tell Tesla, now you can stop producing cars. Now we'll take over as the government. Because even if they're paying 50%, everyone is making incentives. Money. Yeah, and everyone is making money. Even if I'm taxing Tesla 50%, Tesla is still making billions. They're being allowed. But in Kenya, once you start making significant amounts of money, they start now coming in and saying, hey, now you need to, because Keroche is always going to be an example. They shut down the company that was producing so much revenue. 300 million tax is not a little money. And guys are coming out saying, if the government would stop doing this thing where they stop production companies, it's just coming and destroying it completely. They'd be making a lot from tax, and that tax they can reinvest. But that's where I wonder, are we hiring professionals in places like Kereo? We just hiring politicians?
I don't know. And it's shocking, even most of these people in government have gone to Harvard, and it's like you come back to Kenya, and then you go to a factory reset to just behave like you never went to Harvard, or you never went to those Ivy League schools.
They studied abroad.
It's just like you studied in some kind of ushago, you still,
So we are 3 minutes.
Anyway, I think we should leave it there.
So tomorrow we'll be producing more content tomorrow. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
And please like and subscribe. We'll continue producing more content.
Thank you, guys. Later.
Thank you, guys.